Hello there, Vic Benedict here. We're playing Ninja Gaiden Ragebound on the Series X, and this is my hard difficulty Gaiden walkthrough. We're currently on Act 4-5. It is entitled Super Express to Hell. And I want to mention really quickly because in the last video, or the video before last, I was stumbling and fumbling to recall what Ragebound art I had and what I was trying to possibly recommend to you if you wanted to use it. Not on this stage, I wouldn't recommend it, but I just wanted to mention what it was without, you know, trying to figure it out blindly earlier. But it's called the Silken Cuts, and it unleashes a series of dash attacks which cause explosive hits to enemies. So, if you can experiment with that. But we've also got for our talismans, we've still got the Soul Eater and the Six Eyes. You might want to kill those flyers up there, because when I was coming up, I had a hard time. I've also got the grenade equipped, and I've got the kunai barrage equipped, and I do have damage on my person, but that's only because, of course, I'm doing manual hypercharges. But watch when I come up here, because I had to use the kunai barrage up here, but when I was trying to get up here, and what I tend to do periodically on certain sections is I like to do a section or two no damage each video. It probably, oh, watch this, watch how tricky this is. Look at that, the sly thing that game did by spawning that enemy up there. Really need to be careful about that. But the grenade, it was quite helpful. If you don't know what the grenade is all about, it's actually a sticky grenade that detonates on impact with an enemy, and it delivers an explosive damage capable of bypassing armor. So it's good for those shield guys. But I've been looking at some no damage runs of this game, and I'm very impressed by a lot of the things I see, because people do this game so swiftly and confidently that it really showcases the incredible amount of skill people can acquire on this game. And I've heard nothing but praise for this game amongst the type of people that do that, and I've heard nothing but stories of how satisfying the game is. I could just speak for myself about how satisfying the game is, but imagine taking it to that sort of level where you can do the entire game no damage, not even miss one boost dodge, or guillotine boost, I'm sorry. That's true skill, and those people should definitely be proud of themselves. So this chapter is a little longish, and the boss, I remember having had problems on the boss before, but last time I used I'm not sure what it's called, but it's the Ragebound art that can heal you. But on this run of the game, I set about not to use that. But if you do want to use that on the boss, or any aspect of the game when you're playing it, feel free to do so. One reason you might want to use it is simply because the kunai barrage doesn't take too much away from the boss. It takes kind of a disappointing amount from the boss. Now, there might be different occasions where you could deal more damage to the boss by activating the barrage at different times. So I experimented with using the kunai barrage right when the fight starts, I experimented with it about halfway, and then I experimented with it when he was about near death, and I found that, and this was true of another boss I think earlier in the game. It might have been the Hydra, or the Hydras, excuse me, where for some reason immediately acting the kunai barrage right when the fight starts seems to deal more damage for some reason. So that's what you're going to see me do when I get to the boss. These guys are really shifty. I really hate these guys. They pelt you from the sky, and they seem to always have your number. But what I decided to do on this boss, yes, immediately activate the kunai barrage, and I found that the grenade really helps out with getting a ton of damage done to this boss as well. So just remember, if you are wanting to use the grenade, it takes up a lot of ki. So you'll want to equip the Soul Eater and the 6 eyes so that you cut in half your ki usage and also get back your ki faster by melee attacks. So we have a Kumori section over here. Now on this stage, I believe there's 3 and 3 for the pickup amounts. And then on the final stage, which will be next, there's just crystal skulls. But I think overall I enjoyed this level more than I remember enjoying it before. I think I had a lot of problems before, but with a game like this, you are going to have a lot of teething issues, so to speak, and learning and trying to overcome a difficulty curve, because this game definitely has one. But I want to say, just getting from checkpoint to checkpoint is generally fairly manageable. I mean, if you've gone through the game in initial time and you're playing on hard difficulty, and say you're watching this for a walkthrough, getting from checkpoint to checkpoint is usually not the most difficult thing in the world. In fact, I think it's one of the more reasonable things that the game asks you, because you do get a surfeit of checkpoints on this game. You get a ton of checkpoints. I mean, they give you so many checkpoints that it's just kind of ridiculous at times. I'm glad for them, of course, but the real struggle is generally the bosses. Now we have a section over here that's pretty tricky, actually, and the Seeking Tessin, I was thinking about, would the Seeking Tessin work here? How, and if it would work, how well would it work, or how poorly would it work? You really never know about the Seeking Tessin when there's multiple enemies on the screen, because sometimes the Seeking Tessin just has a mind of its own, and sometimes it really comes out, helps you in a pinch. Other times he just throws it off screen and it doesn't hit anybody. And I just got panicky right there, because this is kind of tricky. This was a little aggravating for me. But there's a crystal skull. Once you pick up the skull, you're almost there. This is tricky mostly. It's not because of getting knocked off, so don't worry about that. It's not an issue about getting knocked off. But it is an issue of trying to keep up with all those waves of enemies coming at you from different angles and things, and you're being on a fixed position like that. So we should be coming, this may be the last checkpoint before the boss. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately activate, like the first thing I do, I'm going to activate the kunai barrage. That's going to stun him, and I'm going to pelt him with as many grenades as I possibly can. And what he's going to do is, after that, he's going to fly up to the top of the screen, and he's going to be sending down, I believe they're these parasite enemies. Yeah, that's what they are. They're the parasite enemies. And one of them in every group will have an aura to him. So you want to be going after those. And then he's got some AoEs that start off as 2, and then they increase to 3. And then he's also got a move where he will alight to where your location is. And he starts off pretty fair, but as the fight progresses, it's kind of difficult to anticipate where he's going to land, because if he lands on you, that's extremely bad news for you. But here he is, right over here. See, let's see how much damage that dealt him. That dealt him a pretty good amount of damage. Now on these, what you want to do is let the first one land, jump over it, and then a split second later jump over the second one. And typically you don't want to be at the edge of the screen when he's doing these. So if you do see me on the edge of the screen, just disregard that, because I can't always follow the exact advice that I'm saying on the screen. And just be careful when you do get access to a hypercharge. Try not to waste it. The best way to prevent yourself from wasting it is just to let him land, and then fire it. If he happens to get away from you and you lose your hypercharge, it's not the end of the world. But do you see how effective the grenades are at dealing him a lot of damage? And then when he's shifting about like that and about to go back up into the screen, he is an active hitbox, so you need to be careful about that. See that? Perfect example. I was just foolhardy right there. So try not to be foolhardy if you can. But on these, if you jump and then roll, it's a pretty good opportunity to escape unscathed. But just keep whacking away on him, and having those 2 accessories are going to be very helpful in allowing you to use more grenades and to accrue ki more quickly. Yeah, he definitely, on these later phases, when he gets like half his life gone, he's definitely got something up his sleeve about where he's going to land. It's kind of deceptive. I don't know how else to say it. He's just trickier about doing it, and it's more difficult to anticipate what he's going to do. So and I don't know how good of advice this is, but what I normally do is I'll take my normal reaction from phase 1, and I'm talking about when he's gonna alight and land on the ground and potentially hit you. Say I was gonna go left the first time, I'll go the opposite way the second time. I'll go against my instincts, and I somehow find that works for me. But just, you never know. Take that with a grain of salt if you possibly can. So that has been 4-5. A decent chapter. I enjoyed it. And I hope that as we transition into the final sub-act of Act 4, you continue to take care. So please do so.